some things, they hate an actor and other things. Either they were miscast, or you guys are wondering if it's the director.
Yeah.
Because like you can't just be like, no, I'm going to do it again. I mean, you are at the director's mercy. They are in charge. And if you get really contentious as an actor, you're not going to be in much.
Yeah, that will be the end of you.
Yeah.
But I've been in shows. I've done shows before where like I will give a line and I will wince. I will feel it. I feel it fail. And just as I'm opening my I can do that one more time. I'm so sorry. I hear, oh great, next.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Because we generally know what we've done wrong. We say the line and it's horrible, and we hear, we're like, just let's go again. And you know, directors hopefully usually will let you run with that. At first, they'll be like, let me tell you why that was wrong, blah, 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 and all the while they're telling you your idea of how the line should be is like just evaporating. You're like, no, you know, if I'm working with you, I'd like be like, beep, 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 blah, 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 blah. Tell us that stuff, let's go again. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, but we've gotten to that point.
And occasionally it's like, oh, that was perfect. Or I go, really? Can I try something? I do something else. She's like, yeah, that would have been nice, but no. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
And he would be right, because I don't know. Like, if you're the actor, you don't know.
Mm-hmm. You may think you know.
You don't know.
Because people tell you you're special, but you don't know. You're a larynx for hire.
That's very close. I like larynx for hire. I've been trying to think of one because I've been making fun of friends of mine who model by saying they reflect light professionally. Wow. Truth hurts, don't it? Thank you. I'm trying to think of something awful to do for voiceover too. Thank you. Very quietly, we have some other voiceover actors in the audience. We may drag them up here at some point. Just I'll let them keep their anonymity for the moment.
So then what happens? We record stuff.
Now we've got everything together. Now we have to set it down and mix it. And this is a process where you find out whether or not you as a director are any good or not, because you really can't tell if anything is really working until you're sitting down and you're taking all these individual bits and you're kind of, my metaphor is like working it into the animation. You're kind of like pressing it down and seeing if it just sits inside the animation so that it doesn't feel like it's sitting on top of it. It doesn't feel like, if it's sitting on top of it, it just sounds like people are talking over something that you're trying to watch. And I don't hear people articulate that problem very often, but that's, I feel like a lot of people are circling often when they're like, yeah, it was just kind of bland. Like, it's like people are talking over a cartoon that you're trying to watch. And the other direction is you can just get too big, and then you just have people who are, like there's another cartoon going on that's not what you're watching. And that's like, oh my God, that was awful. And like, yeah, you know, not that, I'm trying to think of it of like a line of, because I don't want to connect. I'll do one of my own. And it's like you get the, I'm Alucard, leader of the Helsing organization. You're like, what the hell is, what cartoon is that? It's not what I'm watching. Oh. Not that we did that, but.
It just reminds me of the Spanish dub of Helsing, which I saw one time. They were having so much fun and nothing matched flat.
No, they don't care. No other
Senor Alucard!
I'm gonna name my next pet Senor Alucard. Senor Alucard, no! Porque Dios!
He's a jolly sort of Senor.
I love, actually, Helsing's really good for like the casting issue of balance. I use that as an abject lesson of balance, because Crispin sounds nothing like the Japanese voice actor. We all agree and understand this, right? The Crispin, if years ago I would say, yeah, Crispin Freeman is Alucard, I get people going, are you out of your mind? Because he's light and dainty and erudite, and the voice for Alucard in Japanese is, oh, series. He's just big, bassy Tom Waits that just comes rolling out of there. And Crispin is anything but Tom Waits. He's a little bit more David Bowie, less Tom Waits. And I think he'd be okay with me saying that. But here's the problem, is that if you have Alucard all the way in here where Alucard is heavy and dark.
Ooh, True Grit.
I'm True Grit. Blood in this cornbread. How many people like big or drained, I don't know. I'm Alucard. The problem is, if you have Alucard down there, where do you have to put all the villains? That's where we get the problem, because then you get Fist of the North Star syndrome, where it's, I'm Alucard, I'm here to defeat you, Alucard, and then suddenly what was supposed to be this romantic, vampire thing just becomes testosterone-orama. Sarah's come with me. No, I'm gonna drain her first. Ah! And literally that would have been the sound, and people think it's what they want to hear, but they were wrong. And also that kills all the tension. Suddenly or you could make the villains lighter, but then it's, if you make the villains light and erudite all the time because you have to give him something to play against, then it's the you'll never defeat me. No, there's no possible way I could ever defeat you. You're too strong. And you're like, no, you're not. And that show is already so overbalanced that way. It's the, will Alucard defeat him? Of course he will. This guy's a little pansy. This guy's a little pansy. Well, you're like the reverse Flash of that. I'll get all that. So we had to make him light so we could have happy villains so that you could actually have the, will Alucard win? I don't know. It's kind of a little, And that's good. Now there's some drama. And then you were supposed to be there to kind of be and we made
me re-record.
I did.
You're a bastard.
Well, I'm not a bad. I made you pretty, so. But you were very much supposed to be there as very much the I'm also a vampire. And then he was like, no, you're not. And then you get that energy, which you can't really do with the, so. There are decisions being made and we are thinking about them, I promise you.
Sometimes we're not the ones making the decisions.
Not always.
But we're thinking about them.
We're
ruining them. Or we're rejoicing in them.
Yeah, so that's my Alucard rant.
Yeah. He's a monster. Monster. Ow.
Thank you for that part.
Should we take any questions?
We should. Raise your hand. Put your hands up in the air. Put your hands up.
Wave them like you don't care.
Hands, monkeys, hands.
Usually that's us. Would you tell me in your Luke Valentine voice that you love Alucard that way?
Yeah, well,
Tell me.
I'm good. This is not that crowd, though. I'm really liking this crowd. Although, again, I want them to get smarmier. I want some shit for something. I don't know why.
They're glad to have chairs. Ooh, there's
good. There's a hand up. Tap.
Why is the rum gone?
Oh, you answer this one.
What? I had the blue drink last night. It was so pretty. My friend was like, you should drink one of these. And I was like, based on the color, I'm assuming I should. Yes, it was. It could have been earlier.
There's a joke in there that I'll tell later. Scripted. We can talk about scripted acting. That's my big thing.
So,
when I
worked on Girls Bravo, my producer, in her infinite wisdom, was like, and this is true of most translations, you're reading the translation, it makes sense, suddenly there are words that make no sense. That's where the joke used to live. But the joke don't live here anymore. So she gave me license to put in a joke, make it funny. It's supposed to be funny there, the joke didn't survive the translation process.
Very few jokes do.
Rare butterfly that it is, you try printing into the barbarian tongue, it's like plonk, we killed your wordplay.
It is a pun culture, and the Japanese is a pun, Japan is a pun culture, and puns do not, they are delicate butterflies.
Take your rare word.
Yeah, they are a rare word.
Hand it over to the bastardized German.
Yeah.
So I just put something in, when you watch things and they're just so literal and so dry, and then you read about people bitching about, we didn't use the honorifics. You're like, you know what, some shows it's okay. Girls Bravo, I wasn't going to have people calling Mr. and Miss.
I'm always cagey on honorifics.
Really, we're not going to, I understand why it's there, but it's not a straight exchange. Like the very fey villains, it doesn't always, not only with the characterizations, but with the voice, what is accepted in Japan as this kind of character, that kind of character, sounds like this, sounds like that, doesn't always translate.
Well, no, because
it has to be something that works for you.
And I'm going to get to you, I saw your hand go up. Yeah, Bashonen is one of those interesting things, because if you actually did the direct translation of what that voice is, there is a perfect English equivalent to that voice, which is this. And if you try to play your Bashonen character, the Bashonen character, if you can imagine, is like, hello, samurai. The Japanese reaction to that is, oh, he's gonna fuck some shit up. And the American is like, oh, he's gonna fuck some shit up. Which is why we go British, is because we kind of get that same thing. We're Americans. We're used to fighting Brits, and Brits are kind of the effeminate fuckers who kicked our ass.
But we know that ultimately we defeat them.
We will defeat them because they are the best. But you can get that femininity, but at the same time keep it serious and kind of deadly by giving it that hello, we're here for you, and that's okay. They're not British.
College older than your house.
Which is the only way to get around the idea that a culture that has several thousand years of knowing that gay men can kill you, and we can't have that here, except on True Blood.
We haven't had a renaissance.
Wow, I just tied two panels together in a big book.
Well, yeah, Chris, what do you do when you got the gangster character who starts rapping in Japanese? And it's supposed to rhyme, but
we write to rhyme, mother order. We did Beck, Mongolian Chop Squad, and we did all brand new music and we did music and we rewrote lyrics to stuff it's really good. We'll write music when it's time for music. We've done versions of Japanese folk songs. Romeo and Juliet, every episode ended in a rhyming quatrain. We wrote rhyming quatrains for every episode.
And we put Ophelia, as much as we could with the flap, in diamond pentameter.
Yes! That's you go for it. And if you're not willing to commit to never seeing the light of day again, then wrong business.
And it's not that everyone requires it. It's that you can't not because it's something you're working on and you can't half-ass it. That's the curse thing. We do sometimes these unreasonable things that no one would ever rightfully request of us, but they know that we'll do it because we care.
Request of us because they know we will. Beck is a good example of what happens when we had 27 songs in Beck. They're all, and the English versions of them are all amazing. It's just everything from J-pop to hip-hop to rock to awful teeny bopper bullshit. And that was Mike McFarland, who's an amazing script adapter who went in and just rocked out that music. If you get a chance to hear it, or maybe at the end of this I'll play a little bit of it. I've got some on my iPod. I can just show you what happens from a Japanese song when we record it. But you had back in the...
Yeah, I forgot the question.
Oh, well, I'll have that. We'll get there too. And we'll get you next. I make people direct me when I have to do a voice. I try not to cast myself, and when it does happen, I get someone to direct me.
It's really
you can't hear
tough. That part of my brain, the directing part of my brain, as soon as I'm in the booth working on something, largely turns off. For Monster, I braved those waters just because the character Grimmer was so cool, and I was like, you know what, it's whatever extra work I'm making for myself, I'm going to deal with it. It also helped in that case that my engineer, once he got early on what the character was about, he would straight up tell me, he's like, that's a little off. He would never be like, that take, but I'd do one, and he'd be like, give it a little more of this, a little more of that. And it was, same thing, having that resource. Because once you're in when you're watching, you're just going, does it sound right? And your engineer is worrying about the tech stuff. When you're in there suddenly on something you're directing yourself, does it sound right? Does it sound like the character? Does it fit the flap? How is it tech-wise? There's just too many things going on at once to comprehensively keep track of.
I have a couple people on speed dial just in case I have to go in. They're like, can you come down? I need you for an hour just to make sure I don't do anything stupid. And you really can't. You're designed not to hear yourself. It took years just to get comfortable listening to anything like that I was doing on camera. I was doing some really good vocal work, but I just couldn't hear it because it's not what you hear coming out. You've heard your voice in like an answering message before, and you go, ah! Yeah.
That is my answering message.
I know. No signal down here, never mind. You were next, and then, go ahead.
This is kind of random just because you mentioned Beck. I just wanted to know, I heard about Greg Ayers who happened with his car. I just wanted to know if he was doing all right, because I haven't seen him doing anything new.
Greg's fine. He's doing stuff. He's as fine as Greg gets. He's Greg. I'm old Greg. Oh, he would kill me if I just. Greg's good. He was at a con last week. He's rocking it out. Yeah, his heart gave everybody a scare, but he to be fair does not sleep, eats poorly, and smokes and drinks nonstop. I love that boy. I don't know how he does it. His life would have killed 10 elephants by this point. I don't know why. Yeah, he's a lot of fun to work with too. He's a great actor, and he's a joy in the booth and loves to play. And oh God, yeah, there's people you just cannot wait to get in the booth. He's one of those people that just. I was working while he was doing Speed. Do you know about Speed Grapher? If you ever get a chance, Speed Grapher, it's dark, it's very adult. If you're up for something that's very adult and dark, he's great. And his character has no nose in that show. And the director, Chris Bevins, in order to simulate the sound, because his character has no nose, made Greg a nose patch that he could wear in the booth. That would take out all the bass out of his, what little bass was left in his voice, because this is a very different sound from this. And there's a lot of difference that comes in when you shut this down. Even if you're trying to sound really cool, it's still just you lose all that, there's all this resonance that just disappears. And that's my, have you ever worked with Greg?
Oh yeah.
What did you work with Greg on, man?
A little bit on that, a little bit on first season of Boss Room.
Oh, yeah.
Mostly just seen him around.
Yeah.
It's a little Oron.
There's Boss Room.
Fancy
Little Oron. Little blue suits.
Just as I was wondering, because I've done a lot of direction on animation and that kind of thing, and I've had to deal with less than stellar actors. So I'm wondering, from your experience, what can I, as a director, do to get a less than great voice actor, get the most out of their performance?
I have several things I would say. First, take some acting classes yourself so you learn how to talk to actors. Like the best way to deal with an actor is learn their language. They speak their own language. Take acting classes. Not that it's not even just to be a better actor yourself, but then you will learn how teachers get them to improve, so you too can get in there and be a teacher of sorts. Keep your energy and enthusiasm up. When you are energetic, loud, and enthusiastic, other people are forced to meet your energy level.
Sometimes you have to lie.
Lie.
But once an actor knows that you think they're crap, like it is the spiral of doom from that point on, because they're like, oh, I'm bad. Like even if they are bad, maybe they're bad.
Knowing
once
they're
they
bad,
get out,
make it
like
worse.
they think I'm bad, because we're like rare little Persian cats that need grooming and special pills. I mean,
Yeah, that always makes me feel bad too, because I try not to do that very often. Well, at this point, I just stopped working with bad actors.
well, yeah, at a certain point, you can be like, I'm going to bring the people I've known for 10 years. Like, if I work with Taliesin, he'll give me a note sometimes on a line that won't have anything to do with anything. It's like a Buddhist koan, and he'll say, blah, 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 blah. And I'll be like, oh, and then we do the next take. But that's because we built that up. That took some doing.
I specifically speak theater actor for people like you. I mean, that's a little bit of theater actor is always coming. So like, where are you coming from? Where are you going? What are you thinking about this? See that teapot? You're attracted to that teapot. Go with it. Go.
Boy, howdy I am.
See.
I mean, and sometimes too,
Feel. Go.
If you know what you need to get from them and they're not coming up with it themselves, that's when you start guiding them. Like, you can tell them all these esoteric things, but if they're not going to get there, give them. There's a way to give someone a line read without giving them a line read.
I know, I hate getting to that point. It always makes me so sad. I always feel like a failure when I get there. I don't feel like the actors failed me. I feel like I have failed. If I've come to a line reading, it means I am not capable of communicating what I want to another human being, which is usually my job.
What I preface it with.
Yeah.
You know, and at a certain point, some actors will be like, oh, line reads, how dare you?
Very rarely.
Smacking with their glove. Other people are like, you know what? If I'm not getting it, give me the line read because I don't want to waste your time. You know, some people are cool with it. They're like, I don't care, I'm not all prissy.
I've never had a good actor be upset at a line reading. I've only had bad actors get upset at line readings. Really. The good actor, I'll give the line reading, they will just honestly tell me, I have no idea what you're asking for. That makes no sense in my brain. And then you play it back to them when it's all set up, and they're like, oh.
Because
wow.
They're coming in, cold reading this thing, playing half of a conversation, the other half they're not hearing. I mean, it's a perfectly reasonable thing. And like you said, the good ones realize that. They're like, you know, if they hit a point where they don't know how the line's supposed to sound, like, of course I don't know how the line's supposed to sound, but that's why you're here, so tell me how you want it to sound and I'll repeat what you do.
As a director, working with actors, the director has a lot of different masks that they have to wear, but when you're with an actor, your job is to communicate. Your job is to know what you need, communicate it. We have just a few minutes left. Know what you need, communicate it, and then take responsibility for it.
Incidentally, on like the big budget games where they've really put a lot of cash into it and they are really hands-on, that's why they even bother having directors, because we speak the language. It might be the client making all the calls, but they don't know how to
tell an actor what they want.
Sometimes the things the client will say, to you, and they talk to you, you press the button, you talk to the actor, but sometimes the things they say, not even meaning to be cruel or mean, just bleed. You go, what? You think if the actor heard you saying that,
that would be the end of the day.
That would be the end of the session. Like,
the end of the session,
get nothing good out of it.
That would break it. And which is why I feel so bad. I've been in that room where like there's like 10-minute conversation. You do your line reading, there's a 10-minute conversation, and then they're like, they hit the talkback.
That was good.
One more, a little louder.
Yeah. Meanwhile, in the glass, you're like,
okay.
I can give you another one. I can do it. Oh no, that's good. They really like
just a little louder, and you're like, that was 8 minutes to figure out a little louder. She says, no, but the client's going, I want this. The director knows says, you want it a little louder. But he knows to let the Japanese client yell for 10 minutes about, why can't you make it louder? I'll see what I can do. Louder.
You had an actor or actress come in, and you knew when they came in, they were messed up some sort of way, been up all night or whatever, but you still had to go because it was scheduled and you had to go, and you had to nurse them through the whole
I had a
thing.
narcoleptic actress. Really? Zara Little's slightly narcoleptic. She fell asleep during the end. On the phone.
I've had ones, it kills you. I had an actress come in with a horrible migraine, the part where hearing the beeps in her ears was causing tears.
I sent her home for that.
Yeah, me too. And I felt bad because she just wanted to like show up and soldier through, but at a certain point you're like, you are weeping.
Send her migraine, go home.
Because the sound of your own voice is shredding your brains into two. Like, give me a hug, go home.
Stop screaming into
turn off the lights. Yeah.
Who was it? I was trying to remember. One of my actresses came in the day her horse died.
Oh.
Yeah.
And she probably had to go kooky and funny, right?
Well, we decided actually that was like, all right, we're going to use this. Yeah, this was on our idea. I was like, no, we have like this one really heavy emotional scene. We're like, we're just going to do it. You're going to cry. You're going to cry, and it'll be good, and we're going to do this, and we're going to put it on tape. We're going to make art. Let's just do this. And so she's just. I will not say the name of the actress to protect the innocent and the horses.
But it sounded really good.
Oh God, it was great. We're getting there. She's on the edge, and she's like, I says, no one will ever love you. You're gonna die alone. Go. And she just like was like, and cut, print, and run and hug. It's okay. You're done. You can go home now.
The scene turned out really good.
She still talks to me. It was so good, though. It was so good.
Oh my God.
I was a very bad man, but it was such a good scene. And in the end, the pain will eventually go away, but the art will be on DVD for all time. And it is one hell of a performance. Oh my God, it's a sobby, weepy, terrible. Oh God, it's so good. ROD the TV is great, by the way. Go watch him. He's in it. He's amazing. You were so good in that. It was all your the best things that you do all wrapped up in one character. It was like all the notes that you hit so well, and you got to be dopey and goofy and evil and awesome and noirish, and it was great.
He did get a better outfit once he turned all evil.
He did get.
He was like, now that I'm a dopey good guy.
Yeah, it's time to get a proper suit.
Yeah. Pick up a smoking habit.
And you and Trisha Dixon, by the way, like that scene with the two of you is like the sexiest thing. Oh God, it's the sexiest thing ever recorded with the sounds of vomit in it. It was just, she had, 2 takes, it was so good. I gotta get her back in the booth. Sorry. All right.
Oh, hi.
There are actors, there's actually there's 2 actors even in the audience right now I will eventually point out so you can know that they're great, who are people who you just love working with. There are actors who you bring them in, they hit every mark, and it's just like, okay, Johnny, you're gonna do that. Like, there's people like who are just, they're ringers. Laura Bailey comes in, she's gonna do it, she's gonna walk out, you're done. Then there's those actors that you're like, they're gonna do it, you're gonna come in, you're gonna play, because it's just gonna get weird. It's so much fun. It's hard to describe why that's better. It's just, because you don't know what's coming. You're surprised and you're excited because it's gonna be, as a director, you're surprised. It's always, isn't that great, those moments where you're like, where did that come from?
Oh, yeah.
What is that? That's just weird.
That's as much as you as a director have something in your mind of what you want. when they shock you with something that you could not have anticipated, but works for the moment. You're like, well, damn. Okay, moving on.
They're both sitting in the crowd right now going, God damn it, just shut up. Yeah, actually, should we point them out? Just So this is Chris Smith in the back over here, who's amazing. He's always wonderfully surprising. It's like this last game we did, we just got line readings. I would just stop and laugh for 5 minutes. Like, all right, next. Oh God. It was so good. And then we've got Jason over in the corner back there. He's like, oh God. Just came in for Street Fighter a while ago and does so much cool stuff. Yeah.
There's a reason you were every cop in Monster.
Yeah, no, we're embarrassing them. But a bunch of us will be at the, what's the next panel that we're?
Video games.
Video game.
Take fun.
Where we'll be talking with a bunch of other actors, some people who are not even on the schedule. There's going to be some surprise guests, video game actors talking about the specifics of video game voice acting. Are there any other questions before we get flashed a card that tells us we gotta get the bleep out of here? Anyone? Oh, excellent.
Okay, you explained what you do when you have an actor and how to deal with actors on their level, but I've also had to deal with like bringing in a scientist in order to have his line reading for script. It was an educational thing, and that was more difficult. I felt like
there is no way to get a performance out of an untrained actor unless they just spontaneously do it. Like I've never been able to do that.
But at least at that point you can feed them line reads and they won't be offended.
Call and repeat is the only way. That's what acting training is learning how to do that. And like you might as well get an actor. It's easier to get an actor to pretend to be a scientist than a scientist to pretend to be an actor.
Because people talk to people every day. I mean, talking to people is something we can do, and we can sound natural, and we just naturally, instinctively put the pauses where they have to be, so we can breathe oxygen because it's important. But you put those people in front of a mic, and if it's not something they do, suddenly it's, I've got this
big purple phallus
microphone in front of my... And it's just they start talking because they think they are supposed to. Acting is learning how to be like you are all the time. Acting is taking all that crap out of your head and just being.
Being able to simulate the experience of being a person.
Which sounds so easy. It should be the easiest thing in the world, but it's
not.
not. And it's mostly just the process of shaking the junk out and taking the stops out.
Yeah, which is why sometimes you find actors who are just so empty in the head that they can just do it. Like sometimes you find these Zen guys who they just go and they just find this. You know, Keanu Reeves is just like he just can do it, and it's amazing. And then you have like people like Val Kilmer who've been studying since they were 9 and like have like degrees and like they've just been in there intellectually, just building it slowly over years. And you wouldn't think Val Kilmer like went to school for this shit, but
he's the youngest one going to Juilliard.
Yes, yeah, Juilliard. I mean, like, yeah, he's got schooling. There's a reason he books that, and we're being told that it's time.